WIP Weekend number 2. This is my treatment look. So, alright. They see me in one outfit. They probably think this is the only thing I own, but that's okay. Alright.
I thought it was.
It is. It's like Peter Griffin. I just have like a closet full of Homer Simpson. Whoever you're into, I just have a closet full of this outfit. Alright, so anyway. Technically, I have 2 WIP Weekend projects, but I brought about 6 other things to work on, just in case, because I get bored, and I like to work on a lot of things, and y'all are probably wobbling, and I'm sorry. We've already discussed how we're going to have to get a little thing that like sticks to the car, so, alright. Anywho, my main WIP Weekend project, because I'm almost finished, and I'm ready to be finished. It's like Princess Tiana. We're almost there, so, alright, is this blanket. I don't remember what it's called. That's probably not very helpful. I can't find it. Alright, it's the Super Saver, the bright stripes. That makes sense. I think I knew that's what that was.
Not the white stripes?
Not the white stripes. Not Jack Stripes. Jack White, Jack Stripes. Alright, people driving by are like, what are they doing? Alright, so anyway, this is the blanket, and then I've shown it off before. I've not made it any further. They probably don't. Yeah, they probably are texting on their phones. They're probably not at all concerned that we're making a YouTube video. So anyway, alright.
That's how we play this road.
So the bottom of it is all granny squares, which look like these. I used my 5.5 hook, and I made 5 rounds, and then I did a round in black, so there's 6 rounds. That's right. I can math sometimes. Okay, so there's 6. He just uses that look, was like, no, you can't. So anyway.
Say nothing.
Alright, so this, like I said, is this, and then I did black and 6 rows. Then at the bottom, I just went back and forth this way instead of in a square, you know, like a granny square. Just went back and forth on this part. So it's all kinds of just wild and funky, because this square made it go just a little bit too far, and so then I added this part. So then it's just horizontal and vertical and all kinds of cool things. So I have 3 squares made, which is how many I need. I just need to make black squares and then do the bottom and the other side, and then I want to border it in black probably for at least 3 rows, hopefully 5 rows, but I don't know if I want to work on it for that long, so we'll see. But I brought this and another skein of this. I don't know if you guys can see me because it's really bright. And then I brought 2 skeins of black. So that's one of my WIP weekends. That's the main one that's going to be my focus. Also, I have this blanket, and we were just trying to discuss what it is. I know it's Yarn Bee, but what's it called? What's it called?
I forgot.
Tadpole.
Yeah. Because it ain't nothing but a tadpole party.
That's right. Ain't nothing but a tadpole party. Alright, so this is Yarn Bee something, some sort of baby yarn. I will look it up and I will link it. Although it was on the clearance, so it's probably not going to be this color. You're probably not going to get to have a tadpole party. I'm sorry. It's a real fun time. Tadpoles partying. Ooh, speaking of parties, what is that? Oh, it's a fireworks stand. Oh, it looked like a lot more fun than that. It looked like a circus. Alright, anyway. So this is that. This was, I believe we got 5 or 6 skeins of this.
It's a skein.
Skeins. Drive me insane. Alright, so anyway, we got 5 or 6 of this. It's all double crochet, and I used my 9mm hook, and I'm gonna border it in the Premier Just Chanel in the color light blue. Yep. Okay. So that'll be the border. Once again, it's all white. There we go. All washed out in white. So that's gonna be the border for that. So that's going to be my other WIP weekend. I brought an amigurumi. I brought yarn for it. I just now realized I left the book sitting at the table, at the desk, in the yarn corner. So now I just have an extra skinny yarn. Maybe I'll find a amigurumi pattern online. Dag nabbit. I'll plan for that. Alright. I also brought some cotton for Country Gal Kitchen Cow. Just cause. And a couple donation items that I'm working on. But anywho, so yeah. Okay, so the main focus is though. Number 1, camera 1, camera 2. So, alright. So I guess we'll see you guys whenever we're home. Yay. On the way. And yeah. So after this treatment, whatever, we'll be home and I'll show you guys how far I made it. So on the blanket, you know, in the treatment.
Boomer Sooner.
Oh, our good friend Maggie, to her. That's awesome. I was wondering when you were going to wear your OU shirt. We've discussed an OU shirt. Alright, so that's so funny. I love it. Alright, so you guys have a wonderfully blessed day. I will talk to you here in just a second. To us, it'll be a minute. So, I don't know if he'll be with me or not. Hope so. Oh, yes. Alright. So, we'll talk to you guys in just a minute. Bye. Say bye. So I was working on the like bright color blanket. I wanted to showcase this one in a black light, but I didn't do it. I may have to do that. Just saying. But I finished it, and that's all that matters. Okay. Ooh. Yep. I'll take a picture. Okay. So, I know that was a lot. So last we spoke, I needed to make my granny squares and do the one end and border it and all of those things. Okay, so I couldn't really show you in the car, so I'll insert a picture at the end. of what it looked like when I thought I had it done, and then what it looks like once it's actually done. We'll see if you can spot the difference. So I started with just a granny square. I went for a long time, and this is the Red Heart Bright Stripes. This is what it looks like, sort of, except it's prettier and in a ball. Little label on it, and it says Bright Stripes, but you know, you get the idea. Okay, so I did that for a while, and then I did saw 5.5 hook per always, and I did 3, let's see, 1, 2, 3 rows of black, and then I went back to the, nope, that's not true. Okay, so I did the 3 rows of black, then I was like, that's good. And then for Mother's Day, actually no, that's not true, just because the kiddos and the husband brought me yarn. Okay, so I was like, ooh, I can make it bigger, because it wasn't a really good size before. So then I got to brainstorm, come up with something really fun. So I was like, okay, I'll just make granny squares at the ends, tie it together, be done. Sounds simple enough, right? I can't tell you the love-hate relationship that I've had with this blanket. Okay, so I started, and I was just like, I'm going to do 5 rows with the bright stripe, and then do 1 row of black, and here, and black, because this is also the bright stripe, this kind of purplish black color, and then black. Okay, so I'm going to do 6 rows of this to make, you know, whatever, 6 rows with black squares, put them all along either end, done. So I did this, there we go, let it adjust, I guess, all the way to there, and then on this square, no, sorry, it's on the other end that I did it. This is the second side I did, but same thing, same story, different side. Okay, so on this square, let's say, I realized that I really shouldn't have put that square. I was like, I probably would have been alright if I didn't add this extra square, but at that point, I didn't really want to rip it. I tried to rip it at one point, but my husband and I discussed, just like earlier with the whole cowboy story, it was like ripping the wrong end of a feed sack. Like I couldn't get it to come out. Later, however, I did it the right way, and it was just like blink, 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 and came right off. And so that was pretty aggravating. But anyway, okay, so I could have ripped it, but I decided against this because it was like, well, wait. What if, though, instead of ripping it, I have this whole extra space right here, right? Okay. So then I decided to add to the other granny squares on the other end. This video is all over the place. Anyway, to add to the other squares on the other end, that I would put this in the middle, because like I said, it's almost a full square too wide, I guess. It's wrong. It's just wrong. So anyway, okay, so then I did this. And I just went back and forth to the end of the blanket. Okay. So then, yeah. So then I made my other squares. This is where I was in the car, right? So then I made my other squares, added those all on, sewed them together. It was like, did it, genius. Then realized, laid it all out on the bed at the hotel. We're at the room. I'm like, yay, I'm ready for the border. Lay it out on the bed at the hotel, look at it, and realize that where the 1 squares were going to be scooched over because they're too long, my plan was to put the other ones at the top, like scooched over this way, right? To where like the lines add up this way and this way, so there's lines on either side that make it all into a square, make it all make sense. It's not what I did. I put the squares like even, so it's like the squares are here, the squares are here, so then it makes sense on this side, and then this side there's a whole other square and it goes nowhere. It makes no sense. So I was just like, are you kidding me? So I'm like, okay, okay, I could add another square and do a whole other thing, but I'm like, that's not what I want to do. So I just sat there frustrated and was like, I'm going to figure it out. And so I just, at this point, I had already done, at the point that I had laid it out, because I was like, oh yay, I did it, I'm done, right? So I'd already done this row of squares, I guess it's already in black, and then this, like, back and forth to end out the blanket. And then, like I said, laid it out. It was like, oh, that's way wrong. So then I was like, okay, fine. So I snipped it and just ripped the whole thing out. Found the right end of the feed sack that time. Just like pulled it all out, aggravated. It's all get out the whole time I pulled it. And I just have these two pieces. And my husband's like, just put it away. And I was like, you're right. So I put it away for a little bit, and then it was like bothering me, and so I couldn't. So I went and got it again, and I laid it out on the hotel bed and scooched the square over and stitched it, or like stitch marked it to where it was all right. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then I stitched all my squares on, and I was like, okay, cool, now I can put it away. So I put it away for that night. So then the next morning we like head out, we're heading home, whatever. I start stitching on this part, which would be, let's see, where are we? These, like along the sides, where it would be like this all the way to here, right? Just like these back and forths. I do this. So I was on this part. I thought I was doing a really great job. Stoked about it even. Then I realized instead of right here turning and going back, which is what I should have done, because this is a square, this is like the giant square. So right here I should have like went up, came back. I realized after like the 5th row that I was just doing this, like going up and coming back. And why? I don't know. But it was. So then that's whenever on the crochet with me ramblings road trip thing, that's whenever it was just in the back seat because it was on punishment, because it was like it needs a timeout, I need a timeout, I cannot look at this daggum blanket anymore. It was just like, are you serious? So I didn't even mess with it for like a while. Okay, few hours. It was, I mean, it wasn't that long because I was just like driving me nuts, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to fix it, because I'm one of those people. It was like, if it's something's messed up, if I just have a WIP, okay, but it's like a WIP that's messed up, like I need to fix the problem and then go from there. Otherwise I'll be like, what did I do? So okay, so ripped those out, went back, added them in, was like, cool, did it, yay. Then realized I had this whole area that didn't quite make it. I don't know, y'all, I don't even know. Love-hate relationship with this blanket. So I will lay it out. Y'all will see how cool it is. It's neat because it's funky and weird and whatever, but at the same time, I really did kind of want to throw it out on the highway. That's the first one that I've just been like, you know, actually it's not. I had another one. I had a rainbow blanket that I was just like, I snipped it and tied it off and was just like, forget it. And I just like, nope. So that's not true. Okay, I've done that before. Just been like, done with it. Thinking about it. Okay. So then we went, it kind of like revived me a little bit. We went to Michael's, as you guys saw on the clip, if you guys watched that anyway. I found Craft Smart Value Neon. This is the color Neon Yellow. It's all washed out. The sun is what it is, y'all. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, there we go. Highlighter. That's all I could think. I was like, it looks just like a highlighter. So as like the whole homeschool teacher brain thing, I made a video on here a long time ago that was like my top things that I need as a homeschool teacher, and one of them was a highlighter because I use those things all of the time, and so I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. Okay, so I needed it. And then it was on sale. So what's a girl to do, you know? So yarn ban or no yarn ban, what's a girl to do? There's sale yarn and it looks like a highlighter. You know, you only have so much self-control. So my husband's like, what if you add that to your blanket as the border? So that kind of like like sparked the whole thing for me being like, okay, I'm finishing it. So then ripped those darn rows out, did whatever, like I said, finished it out. Did 2 rows of black. I talked about 3 to 5. At this point I was just like, you know, that's a good even number. So I did 2. And then I added that beautifulness, oh my goodness, to the edge. So it's just funky and different, and like most things I make, makes no sense, and therefore I love it. Okay. So I love it so much. Scooch up so you guys can hear me. Okay, so I love it so very much. This is one that we are keeping. I don't do that a lot. This one's happening. Trying to find the spot where I messed it up. Right here. So this is where, like I said, it got all weird, right? Okay. Notice, my friends, my ends are not sewn in. And there's this weird spot right here now. It's all weirdly like yellow and green. Perhaps that means it's not finished completely. It's a finished object, but is it? Also, I don't know about y'all, but personally, I see these colors in this blanket, and I think Halloween. My daughter looked at this and saw the movie Coco, the Disney movie Coco, and I was like, thank you. So, even though it's an FO and I did finish what I planned on finishing, y'all may stay tuned for this blanket because I have plans for this little spot right here, and maybe this one right here. I think it's gonna be real neat. And so yeah, so this is my WIP FO, WIP 2 FO should I say, for my WIP weekend. But it may come back in a couple months. Okay, hang tight. I'm gonna get my other blanket that I made. This is the longest video on planet Earth. My gosh. Okay. Okay. Alright, just very quickly. One more blanket that I showed you guys that I was making in the car was the baby blanket that I was working on. It is an FO. Yay. And I also had another, like a couple things for donations that I was making. Got those finished. So it was a productive weekend because that blanket screwed me up for a while, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not looking at it. And so got to work on other things, so it all worked out. Okay, so this is the blanket. Maybe, oh yeah, you can see it now. Look how fun. Remember how bright it was in the other video? Oh yay. Okay. So this is the Yarn Bee. I don't remember. I just know that we got it on clearance. These were $1 something a skein, and I used 6 of them, and that's what I know. And it's double crochet, and I used my 9mm hook. It's just the prettiest color. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I went back and did a border in the light blue chenille from Dollar Tree, and I just did 2 double crochets in each little stitch instead of 3 because I didn't want it to be wavy. I didn't really want a shell. I wanted it to still kind of be like boyish, you know, because there is pink and like in there, but it's also green and blue. So I thought the blue looked prettier than the pink, to be honest, but I like blue, so it is what it is. Anyway, so that's how it ended up, and I love it. I think it looks so cool. Okay, so it's really soft, really fluffs, and I like it. There, we toga party. All right, so it's so nice, so very nice. So I'm very, very happy with this one. Honestly, I know I make a whole lot of baby blankets and things for donations, and I mentioned that this yarn will probably be donation. I've made one blanket before, and it was the first baby blanket that I ever made. I had intentions on making it for a friend of ours. Their like nephew had a baby. And I made it, and then that's whenever, just like that, the pandemic happened and everything was shut down. Everything was whatever. They like had their daughter, she was like 2 weeks old or something like that whenever the pandemic happened. So she's like well over a year old now. So like the little soft, supple, pretty baby blanket ain't really gonna work out. Plus it was too small. So I donated that one. And I've kind of kicked myself. I mean, I'm like glad that I donated, don't get me wrong. But it was kind of like the first baby blanket, you know, that I made, and it was kind of special just because it was the first one that I ever made. So I think with this one, I may just stash it back, and if I have someone that comes along that needs a baby blanket, then I have a baby blanket on stash, because those are nice to have, right? Little extra items for people that have babies. If not, then, you know, maybe in 30 years, whenever I become a grandmother, then, you know, 16, I'm a grandmother. Anyway, but whenever I'm like old and gray, and like I said, 30 years, not at least, then maybe, you know, I don't know. I'm in love with this blanket. It reminds me so much of the other blanket. And so I don't know, you know, like I may donate it, but also, I don't know, you know, I'm in love with this blanket, like for real. So very in love with this blanket. So I don't know, I may pass it on. If not, I know someone that's could probably use it right now, so we'll see. But anyway, I'm very, very pleased with how it turned out. I like adore it. It may even be adorable, you know, I don't even know, but yeah, I love this blanket very much. So okay, longest video on planet Earth, my goodness gracious. So little random rambles in the middle, y'all know how it goes. It is what it is. All right, so I'm gonna get off here because I want to do my Michael's yarn haul, and that way I can play in my yarn, mostly because I have a top that I want to make with some of that yarn, but I'll talk about that another tale, another time, am I right? So, all right, thank you guys so very much for staying, especially if you stayed to the end. I mean, obviously you did if you're listening to this. Silly. All right, so I hope you guys have a wonderfully blessed day. Please stay safe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Goodbye.